And then the father said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice because this brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and has been found.' For the word of God in us, with us, and through us. Thanks be to God." I don't know if you've heard this parable before. It's sort of popular. If you were around for the gift shop of Christian merch called Parables at one point in your life, there were many prodigal son options that you could buy, like a poster that you could, say, put in your dorm room because you were so cool. Yeah, and one you could give your boyfriend, too, as a hint. No, just kidding. I mean, that was a bad idea. Anyway, all around. The prodigal son is this parable that we all lean into and are a part of, and that we hear used in the culture over and over and over. Even my little brother will say, "Oh, we're killing the fatted calf because I've come home." And I promise you, at the McKnight house, there's more than one calf. Like there's 3 meats and lots of many casseroles. Many cheeses were lost in the making of that feast. And somehow we kind of lean into this notion of the prodigal son, and somehow we are often encouraged to think about those spaces that we carry that we need to let go of, or those forgiveness spaces that we need to ask for, or that longing and that shame that we hold. And that might be true. And there are spaces for all of us to learn and grow. It also might be true that that's maybe not the most important part for us to reflect on in the parable. See, this parable might be better titled The Prodigal Father, because this father is a revolutionary, really. You have this moment at the beginning where this son, this child, the youngest, it seems to be so, asks for his inheritance, is super rude, needs all his money, is going to go off and, find himself or whatever in some other distant land. I don't know if they all needed to go to some kind of group therapy to talk about what they really wanted out of life and how this young person could have gone off and explored without sort of saying to his dad, "You are dead to me." But that is essentially what's happening. They live in this culture of shame and honor, a very intense sense of shame and honor, and a son or a child that says, "You are dead to me. I want my inheritance." That is loaded with hurt and shame and abandonment. And so the father does what he's asked. He figures out how to sell the land or do what he needs to do to offer this child what is his, and he goes off into another country to live, away from everything he grew up with and his community. And then while he's there, there's a famine, right? This sort of epic situation happens. And when these big situations happen and you have no social safety network, it is hard to manage, whether it's a famine or a pandemic or something else that the whole culture has to work through together. When I was in seminary, there was this professor who was doing, as much as you could do an experiment on listening to the Bible from different contexts. And so, I was in the young white lady cohort, and then there was so they were going around Dallas, and there was a group of folks who listened who were new Americans, who were refugees and immigrants. And when they listened to this parable, then responded to it, what they heard in it was, of course, this young man has to get a terrible job working with pigs that seem unclean to him. And they saw it as folks who have gone to another country, who have needed to go to another country, or who wanted to go to another country, perhaps. And that you don't always know the fine print, and you don't always know the ways to weave through the culture. You don't always know the value of things, and so people take advantage of you, and it is easy to run out of that little bit of money that you brought with you. And when something gets really hard and you don't have any social safety network to speak of, it is easy to fall into abject poverty. For this community, the sin was not the prodigal son who wasted all of his money on what is called dissolute living, but the community who didn't care enough to make sure he had more food than the pigs he was feeding. And so the parable continues. The son is like, even the folks who work on dad's farm have more to eat than this. I can't be a son. That is off the table. That is not an option with me. I know what I did. I understand the context. But maybe my dad will let me work in his farm. And so he goes home, probably practicing his speech all the way home. I don't know if you've ever done that, but just practicing, getting the right words, figuring out how to say them. Maybe you even have like a rise and fall in your voice at the right spot, or a certain tempo that will really elicit sympathy and mercy that names the gravity of the situation that you are aware of. And then this is where the parable gets beautiful and hard. The dad sees him coming. The dad is looking to the horizon. Like, how many days must he have been just looking to the horizon? Where his son had left, he's looking for him to come back. He knows the gait of his step. He knows the shape and the outline of his shoulders. He sees him coming across the horizon, and he doesn't wait till he gets there. He doesn't even make him go through his speech. He runs. He's an elder, and he runs. And he embraces, and he brings all these gifts that say, you are sacred, and you are worthy, and you are my child. And there's no amount of groveling that you have to do. And then there's this beautiful part, right? The dad is saying no. It's not just like... It's not today, where it's like, oh, that's a sweet forgiveness story between a dad and a kid, or a parent and a child, or whatever. There is this intense shame and honor code. And the dad is saying no to all of it, to everything about the economy and every norm of the culture around him. He does not care. He so does not care. He is like, come have a party. My son is back. He doesn't bring the son back and be like, hey, we're going to make up a little bed for you in the attic. It's going to be great. We've got twinkle lights. It'll be really lovely. He doesn't say, like, okay, yeah, you can work in the field. Here's some clothes that are, decent considering everything you've done. There's none of that. The dad says no to everything about the norms of the culture. And he doesn't try to hide it. In fact, he announces it. He has a party. He kills a fatted calf, which is like ancient Mediterranean for like, this is a big party. Sorry, vegetarians. And then it gets even harder for us. And probably harder for the people that Jesus was talking to. Jesus is talking to the religious political leaders. They're sort of the middlemen in the community between this Roman Empire that is oppressing everybody and the most vulnerable in their midst. And this economy is stacked against everybody, and it makes everybody want to store up and keep for themselves. It makes those systems of shame and honor even more challenging. It makes people have to really think about what they save and what they do and how they work, and it keeps them striving in this economy that is built on scarcity. that has nothing to do with abundance or love or this prodigal father. And so Jesus continues the parable to those folks and to us, given sort of the global economy and where we probably fall in it. And the older brother is mad. Mad is an understatement, but we're in church, so that's what the word I'm going to use, because I don't want anyone to get in trouble at school. The older brother is like, you didn't even give me a goat. And I don't know if everybody in this family just needed to spend some more time in self-reflection and therapy. Probably, like, don't we all? And the dad calms his nerves. Like, the older brother is like, I did everything right. I did everything how I was supposed to. I've worked really hard. I checked all the boxes. I have kept my nose to the grindstone. I have thought endlessly about how to make this farm better. I have thought about our ancestors. I have thought about the children to come. I am working hard, and you never even gave me a goat. Which, like, I don't know if the dad after this is like, also, just tell me you want to have a party. Like, we could have had it. I didn't know you liked parties. I thought you liked the ACT. I don't know. Like, if everybody just would say what they mean. So the dad names, you have everything. We have everything. We have so much. Why are we going to fret about this party? Why are we going to, like, be upset? Your brother is home. He is alive. This is a gift. The dad is an invitation to rethink everything around them. The way they work, the way shame and honor work in the culture, the way money works in their family and in their community. It is a way of saying no. And Jesus is looking at the people around him, and he doesn't want just a different political order. He wants a total revelation, a different way of living, a gift economy that is based in generosity, that there is no room for shame, that there is only folks looking to the horizon with love, with generous hearts and a willingness to give, even though it doesn't make sense by any of the rules and norms. A way of practicing a different way of being. To say no to this empire and this economy of scarcity and this scarcity of love and this work that shames people and keeps them small. That is this work of generosity. That is this heart of giving. That is this heart of this story. Jesus asks them and us now to change everything about how we live. And the gift is we don't have to do it alone. We practice day in and day out. We tell these stories of abundance. We tell these stories of a father looking to the horizon. We tell these stories of sharing baskets and baskets of food. We tell these stories of healing over and over and over, day in and day out, week in and week out, year after year, so that we can inch ever more closely to seeing the way God sees, to being the one who will rejoice at the party, who sets a feast, who gets that fatted calf and invites everyone to the table. May we have the courage. May it be so. Amen.